Hello friends, today we are having another video related to the structure of skeletal muscles. In our syllabus, we are having the very important topic, that is the physiology of muscle contraction. And this topic is considered as a very IMP from exam point of view. And always there are the chances that this physiology of muscle contraction can be asked for the 5 marks. But before understanding the physiology of muscle contraction, we must know about the structure of skeletal muscles. Once we understand the structure of skeletal muscle, then it will be easy for us to understand the physiology of muscle contraction, and that's why we are having this video, that is the structure of skeletal muscle. In this video, we are going to restrict our discussion up to the structure of skeletal muscles only. Once we studied properly the structure of skeletal muscle, I will release another video related to the physiology of muscle contraction. So friends, if you watch this video to the end, with the help of this video, you will come to understand definitely the structure of skeletal muscle, but within the structure of skeletal muscle, you will come to understand what is endomysium, perimysium and epimysium. What is this skeletal muscle is made up of? If it is made up of the skeletal muscle fibers, so what is this skeletal muscle fiber is made up of? So what is myofibril? We will come to know. What is this myofibril is made up of? In that case, it is made up of the actin and the myosin. So we will understand about what is this actin, what is this myosin, and what are these actin and the myosins are made up of, and what is their role in the skeletal muscles. We also going to understand about the I bands and the A bands. We know very well the myofibrils are showing the alternate I bands and the A bands. I bands are known as the light bands and the A bands are known as the dark bands. So what are these I band and the A band stands for, and what are these made up of, and why they are given so name I band and the A band? You will also come to understand all these things in this video. When we said about the actins, actins are made up of the regulatory proteins known as the troponin and the tropomyosin. So we will also understand about the troponin and the tropomyosin and their role in the skeletal muscles. So let us have introduction for the skeletal muscle. Friends, we are familiar with the muscles, and muscles are essential for the movement, and these muscles are of three types: skeletal muscles, smooth muscles and the cardiac muscle. The third one, which I said, the cardiac muscle, the name itself indicate these are the muscles of heart, and they are just only located towards the heart. But when we say about the smooth muscle, these smooth muscles are generally located to our internal viscera. For example, our small intestine, lungs, bronchi, urinary bladder, uterus, many of like this. The smooth muscles are located. And when we say about the skeletal muscles, the name itself indicate that these muscles are located towards the skeleton. Means these muscles are located near the bones, and they help in the movement of our bones, movement of our joints. Means they make our skeleton to move. That's why they are given a name skeletal muscle. As these skeletal muscles are involved in our voluntary actions, they control our voluntary actions of speaking, voluntary actions of movement of our head, movement of our legs, movement of our hands. So all these movements are voluntary in action, and these are controlled by the skeletal muscle, and it is the reason for what these skeletal muscles are also known as voluntary muscles. These muscles are made up of the strip muscle fibers. So that's why they are also known as the striated muscle fiber. Now, these skeletal muscles are made up of the large number of fibers, and these fibers are known as the muscle fibers. Means large number of muscle fiber unite together to form a large mass, and that large mass is known as a muscle. And these are the smallest unit of the skeletal muscle. What are that? The muscle fiber. Muscle fibers are the smallest unit of the skeletal muscles, and the diameter of this muscle fiber, it is around 10 to 100 micrometer. Now as we come to know that the skeletal muscle is made up of the large number of muscle fiber, and these muscle fibers are separated from the neighboring muscle fiber by means of the sheath of connective tissue, and that sheath of connective tissue is known as the endomysium. Such a bundle of endomysium is also wrapped in a sheath of connective tissue. This time it is called as a perimysium. Means हम लोग अगर कोई मसल फाइबर लेंगे तो उसकी जो आउटर मोस्ट कवरिंग है उसे एंडोमाइसियम कहेंगे. सो लार्ज नंबर ऑफ सच एंडोमाइसियम आर प्लेस्ड in a sheath of connective tissue, and that sheath of connective tissue it is known as a perimysium. करेक्ट. म्हणजे पेरीमाइसियम क्या है? तो एक शीथ ऑफ कनेक्टिव टिश्यू है कि जिसमें लार्ज नंबर ऑफ एंडोमाइसियम प्रेजेंट है. ठीक है. और एंडोमाइसियम के अंदर क्या है? तो एंडोमाइसियम के अंदर है मसल फाइबर. आ रहा है ध्यान में? तो मसल फाइबर का जो आउटर मोस्ट कवरिंग है एंडोमाइसियम है. ऐसे लार्ज नंबर ऑफ एंडोमाइसियम्स को एक बंडल बनाया जाएगा और उसे शीथ ऑफ कनेक्टिव टिश्यू में कवर किया जाएगा. दिस टाइम इट इज नोन एज द पेरीमाइसियम. Several such bundles of perimysium are packed in a sheath of connective tissue again, and this time it is known as a epimysium. यहाँ पे हम लोग देख सकते हैं कि जो लार्ज स्ट्रक्चर है जो मसल्स का है, लार्ज स्ट्रक्चर जो मसल्स का है, इसमें क्या प्रेजेंट है? तो लार्ज नंबर ऑफ पेरीमाइसियम से ये बना हुआ है. तो एक पेरीमाइसियम क्या किस चीज से बना है? एक पेरीमाइसियम को बाहर निकाला. तो एक पेरीमाइसियम किससे बना है? तो लार्ज नंबर ऑफ एंडोमाइसियम से बना है. तो उसमें से भी एक एंडोमाइसियम बाहर निकाला. तो एंडोमाइसियम किस चीज से बना है? तो एंडोमाइसियम के अंदर क्या है? तो मसल फाइबर्स है. और ये मसल फाइबर किस चीज से बना है? तो ये बना है मायोफिब्रिल से. ठीक है, मायोफिब्रिल से बना है. सो फाइनेस्ट स्ट्रक्चर, द फाइनेस्ट unit or the smallest unit of the muscle, it is known as a myofibril. So just like the cell, these muscle fibers are also having the plasma membrane. So the plasma membrane of the muscle cell, it is known as a sarcolemma. We know very well the cell is having the cytoplasm, and within the cytoplasm the several cell organelles are placed. So the cytoplasm of the muscle fiber, it is known as a sarcoplasm. The endoplasmic reticulum is also found to be present into the muscle fiber. This time the endoplasmic reticulum of the skeletal muscle, it is known as a sarcoplasmic reticulum. This muscle fiber again contains the large quantities of potassium, magnesium, phosphate, and number of mitochondria. अब ये जो मसल फाइबर है, each muscle fiber it contains about the several hundred to several thousands of myofibrils. तो एक मसल फाइबर है, ये किससे बना है? तो 100 to 1000 number of myofibrils. You can see the myofibrils in the figure. Okay. So what is this myofibril? Let us understand about this one. So if we take the small segment of the myofibril, we will come to know that this myofibril is made up of the actin and the myosin filament. What are these actin and myosin filament are made up of? These are made up of the protein filament. So nearby the 3000 number of actin filaments are found to be present, and 1500 number of myosin filaments are found to be present in each myofibril. The actin filaments are known as the thin filaments, and the myosin filaments are known as the thick filaments. When the myofibrils or the skeletal muscle is seen under the microscope, this myofibril shows the alternate light and the dark bands. So these light bands are known as the I bands, and the dark bands are known as the A bands. The light bands are known as the I bands. The I in the I band, it stands for the isotropic. Means when polarized light is passed through the muscle fibers, the light rays are refracted in the same angle. एक ही एंगल में लाइट रेज रिफ्रैक्ट होंगे. मीन्स एक पोलराइज्ड लाइट जब हम पास करेंगे आई बैंड से, तो लाइट की एक प्रॉपर्टी होती है कि वो रिफ्रैक्ट होता है. तो जब हम प्लेन ऑफ पोलराइज्ड लाइट हम पास करने का ट्राई करेंगे थ्रू द आई बैंड, it get refracted in the same angle, in a single angle. बरं, एकाच विशिष्ट अशा अँगलने ते रिफ्रॅक्ट होतील. And the dark bands are known as the A bands. The A stands for anisotropic. A stands for anisotropic. Means When the polarized light is passed through the muscle fiber, the light rays get refracted in the different direction. म्हणजे लाईट रेज आहेत ना, ते डिफ्रॅक्ट होतील डिफरंट डिरेक्शन मध्ये. दॅट्स वाय इट इज गिवन अ नेम anisotropic. And isotropic means what? The light rays refract in a single direction. In a single direction. But when the light rays are passed through the dark band, the light rays get refracted in the different direction. That's why it is given a name anisotropic bands and the isotropic bands. So the I of the I band stands for the isotropic, and the A of the A band stands for the anisotropic. These actin filaments. But can you see the myofibril? Each myofibril is made up of the actin and the myosin filaments. So the actin filaments can be seen with the help of blue lines. Can you see in the image? The blue lines, it is an indication of the presence of actin filaments. And the brown or the red color or the brown colored structures, whatever you will find in the image, it is related to the myosin. These actin filaments are attached to the Z disc. You can find the Z line or the Z disc in the figure. This Z disc, it is also the proteinous filament to which the actin filaments are attached. The portion of myofibril lying between the two successive Z lines, दो Z lines के बीच में जो portion है, that portion it is known as a sarcomere. So the smallest functional unit of the skeletal muscle, it is known as a sarcomere. It is known as a sarcomere. The portion between the two successive Z lines, it is known as a sarcomere. So your myofibril, it is made up of large number of such a sarcomeres. What is this M line you will find in this image? So M line hold together the thick myosin filaments. Means myosin filaments are attached to the central line of the sarcomere. So whenever it is asked what is the M line, so M line it gives the point for the attachment of myosin filaments. मायोसिन फिलामेंट्स कहाँ पे अटैच है? तो यम लाइन में अटैच है. और एक्टिन फिलामेंट्स कहाँ पे अटैच है? तो जेड लाइन पे अटैच है. बराबर. यम लाइन कहिए या फिर जेड लाइन कहिए, बोथ आर मेड अप ऑफ द प्रोटीनस फिलामेंट. ओके. One more structure you will identify in the figure. It is the H zone. What is the H zone? It is the middle of the A band. Middle of the A band. So what is that? Light band and the A band. We said light band looks light in color and the dark band looks dark in color. So whenever we say about the light band, these light bands are only made up of the actin filaments. What is this one? Only made up of the actin filaments, means there is an absence of myosin filament. That's why it look like a light. And the A band, which is known as a dark band, this A band, it is made up of both myosin and end portion of actin filaments. End portion of actin filaments. It collectively forms the A band. A band में क्या क्या present है? A band किससे बना है? It is made up of the end or the tail portion of the actin filament और myosin. वैसे देखा जाए तो myosin ही dark होता है, बड़ा thick होता है. myosin thick होता है और actin thin होता है. So जिस region में सिर्फ actin present है, that part look light. और जिस region में myosin present है along with actin, that looks a darker. That's why it is given a name dark band. That's why it is given a name A band. और जिस रीजन में सिर्फ एक्टिन प्रेजेंट है, एक्टिन ये थिन होता है एंड इट रिप्रेजेंट्स द पोर्शन दैट लुक्स लाइट, सो दैट्स व्हाई इट इज गिवन नेम लाइट बैंड, दैट इज द आई बैंड. अभी ये जोन क्या है? इट इज अ सेंट्रल पार्ट, इट इज अ सेंट्रल पार्ट ऑफ द ए बैंड वेयर देयर इज अ एब्सेंस ऑफ एक्टिन फिलामेंट. जहां पे एक्टिन फिलामेंट नहीं है, सिर्फ मायोसिन फिलामेंट है. बराबर. सो इट लुक्स अ लिटिल मच लाइटर, तो ये थोड़ा सा लाइट दिखता है. सो व्हाट इज दिस वन? जो एज जोन है, ये मिडल ऑफ द ए बैंड है, विच इज लिटिल लाइटर इन कलर बिकॉज it only contain the portion of thick filament, means the actin filaments are absent. So that portion it is known as the H zone. So what is this myosin and the actin it is made up of? The figures are also given there. But with the help of another figures, we will try to understand clearly about the actin and myosin filament. Up to this, I must say that you might have understand what is the myofibril it is made up of. With the help of this slide, we try to understand the myofibril. What we said, the myofibril it is made up of the actin and myosin filament. अब ये actin जो है, these are the thin filament. Myosin जो है, these are the thick filament. ये जो myofibrils है, it is made up of the alternate light and the dark band. Light bands are known as I band. Dark bands are known as A band. I stands for isotropic. A stands for anisotropic. Means when the polarized light is passed through these areas, how the light is refracted. If the light is refracted in a single direction, it is a I band. If the light is refracted in a multiple directions, it is known as a band. That's why it is given a name anisotropic or the isotropic. एक्टिन फिलामेंट्स कहाँ पे अटैच है? तो जेड लाइन पे अटैच है. मायोसिन फिलामेंट्स कहाँ पे अटैच है? तो एम लाइन पे अटैच है. सार्कोमियर क्या है? दो जेड लाइन के बीच में जो पोर्शन है, दैट पोर्शन इज नोन एज अ सार्कोमियर. The portion between the two successive headline it is known as a sarcomere. So such a large number of sarcomere form a myofibril, and such a large number of myofibrils forms the muscle fiber. So what we said, H zone it is the middle part. It is the middle part of the dark band where the actin filaments are absent, and it is little bit lighter within the dark band. Dark band में एक और एक light pattern है, and that line is known as the H zone. So now let us understand what is this myosin is made up of. So what is this myosin? It is made up of the I must say it is the protein filament, and is made up of the polypeptide molecules, and it is made up of the polypeptide molecules and divided into the myosin tail and the myosin head. It is having the two myosin heads which lie side by side. कितने हेड्स है? दो हेड्स है कि जो नजदीक में प्रेजेंट है, एक दूसरे के नजदीक में प्रेजेंट है. Each myosin filament it is made up of 200 or more individual myosin molecule. एक मायोसिन फिलामेंट अगर लिया जाए तो लगभग it is made up of 200 or more individual myosin molecules. ATPase enzyme is also found to be attached towards the head, and this ATPase enzyme is essential for the utilizing the energy in the form of ATPs, and this energy is required for the contraction of muscles. So contraction of muscle it is made possible just because of the energy is being utilized by the myosin filaments. Means it is energy operated. So each myosin is composed of the multiple units of meromycin. Myosin किस चीज से बना है? So it is made up of the large number of meromycins. So it doesn't matter it is your tail or it is your head or it is the head of myosin. So what we said, the myosin molecule, it is the polypeptide molecules, means it is a protein and is divided into the myosin tail and the myosin head. It is having the two heads, correct? So that's all about the myosin molecules. Let us get understand about in such way about the actin filaments. Now we understand about the myosin. Let us try to understand about the actin filament. These actin filaments you will find just like the DNA, it is made up of the two strands. So it is made up of the two strands of the F actin. So each strand of the actin, it is known as the F actin. The F of the F actin stands for the filamentous actins. Each strand of the F actin, it is made up of the G actin. The G stands for the globular actin. Can you see the each strand, a single strand of the filamentous actin or the F actin, it is made up of large number of globular actins, and that large number of globular actins it is known as a G actin. Along with the F actin, the two filament regulatory proteins known as tropomyosin and the troponin are found to be present at the regular intervals. कुछ कुछ छोटे छोटे इंटरवल्स में you will find the presence of regulatory proteins known as troponin and tropomyosin. The presence of troponin and tropomyosin throughout the F actin. F actin में present आपको दिखाई देंगे. So troponin is a complex of, what is this troponin? Troponin, it is made up of the three loosely bound subunit. Means it is a complex of three loosely bound subunits. What are these complex? So it is made up of troponin I, troponin T, and the troponin C. Means as such, troponin, it is made up of the three subunits. Troponin I stands for the isotropic, and isotropic means it is made up of the actin. So means the troponin I is having the affinity for actin. Troponin T is having the affinity for the tropomyosin, and the troponin C is having the affinity for the calcium ions. With the help of this image, you will clearly understand what are this troponin and the tropomyosin and how they are present throughout the F strands of the actin. So whenever the troponin and the tropomyosins are present in a complex, they inhibit actin and myosin combination. They do not allow the interaction in between the actin and myosin, means they inhibit the muscle contraction. So when we are saying that our muscles are relaxed, it means that the troponin and the tropomyosins are present in a complex form. So in order to carry out the skeletal muscle contraction, we need to break down this troponin tropomyosin complex. We need to inhibit this troponin tropomyosin complex so that it will expose the active sites for the binding of myosin. मायोसिन ज्या बाइंडिंग साइट्सवर ऍक्ट होणार आहे ऍक्टिनच्या, त्या मास्क केल्या जातात, त्या झाकल्या जातात विथ द हेल्प ऑफ दिस ट्रोपोनिन ट्रोपोमाइसिन कॉम्प्लेक्स. मीन्स जब तक ट्रोपोनिन और ट्रोपोमाइसिन का कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्म हो चुका है तो जो एक्टिव साइट्स है कि जहां पे मायोसिन एक्ट होता है वो कवर कर दिए जाते हैं. So means your myosin doesn't interact with the actin if the troponin tropomyosin complex is present. So troponin tropomyosin complex should be broken down, should be inhibited in order to carry out the interaction between the actin and myosin and thus the contraction of muscle. So friends, that's all about the structure of the skeletal muscle. I hope I must have answered all questions related to the structure of skeletal muscle. Very soon I will be there to release the another video related to the physiology of muscle contraction. Till then, goodbye. Have a nice day.